Okay, I'm hoping that I've managed to accomplish what I wanted to accomplish. There's two things that I want to accomplish today. The first thing is to have this posted as a video that people can find later on, and two, of course, to do the live streaming. Um, Today is May the fourth. No, yeah, May the 4th on 2016, approximately 11:28 a.m. Mountain Time here in El Paso, Texas. Um, you know, let me. These comments are basically about the dropping out of Ted Cruz and Kasich and leaving the nomination to Mr. Donald Trump, and for the purposes of explaining certain fallacies. I'm going to state again. I was born in Mexico. I was raised in the border town of El Paso, Texas, USA. I have known Mexicans all my life. Uh, Nothing Mr. Trump has said about the people coming in from Mexico into the United States of America uh, is wrong. I have personally, I have personal knowledge that the people who come into this country from Mexico have no respect for this country. Mr. Trump's campaign towards the presidency, one, should not be about petty attacks against Hillary Clinton, and two, are going to require strategic planning. I would have to say that national security, the threat of ISIS, the threat of nuclear arms in the hands of people who run Iran, who run North Korea, the behavior of Putin in Russia and the leadership of China are rather concerning, and very specific strategic plans have to be made in order to deal with those issues. After national security, of course, it's the national economy. And one of the biggest threats to the national economy is the $20 trillion national debt that the people are going to pay for. The corporations, they're not going to pay anything. During the Obama administration, I remember twice a major donator to Obama didn't pay any taxes, and in one tax situation actually got a refund from the government. And we're talking about a company that makes billions of dollars. So it's the people of America who are going to have to pay for the financial mess that Mr. Obama created by himself with his poor administration. Mr. Obama was responsible for more debt than all the presidents combined. Hillary Clinton is just going to follow the same um, philosophy. Is Hillary Clinton an administrator? No, she's never administrated. As people think that her position as Secretary of State was a position, an administrative position, but she didn't worry about the financing. She didn't worry about paper clips or pencils or copy paper or printers or computers that were needed to operate the State Department. She worried about the politics, and we all know that. With look at Russia. Obama and Hillary were going to make Russia a better situation. Didn't happen. Uh, Under Obama, Hillary, and Kerry, China is becoming, uh, what's the word? You know, they're becoming aggressive. And Russia, I've seen incidents in the reported incidents of Russian military aircraft flying close to American military interests. There has to be a reason for it. So Obama, Clinton, and Kerry have made a mess of foreign policy in America. We know Obama's drawn a line in the sand that didn't work. So we're going to have to deal with national affairs. We're going to have to deal with the economy. And the American people deserve to be respected. The American people deserve to have their tax dollars respected and not to be treated by those in the Republican Party and the Democratic Party as individuals who just don't matter. I think that good and decent people want to work. And the obstacle is the United States government. So you're going to need strategic planning for the economy. Part of foreign policy is America's immigration policy. And that's, you know, there's been decades of abuse by the people of Mexico. There are laws in the United States of America. No society can exist without laws. There needs to be law and order. Whatever the problems are, whatever the challenges are in Mexico, those are the problems and challenges of the people of Mexico. They're not the problems and challenges of the people of America. Americans can be kind, charitable individuals and offer suggestions. But the individuals who ultimately have to do the heavy lifting to fix Mexico are going to have to be the people of Mexico. I can tell you that the idea that people from Mexico come into the United States of America for a better life is a false idea. There are many individuals in Mexico doing fine as university professors, as government employees, as business individuals, doing fine. What you have in Mexico is what you have in society. You have individuals who lend themselves to their worst behaviors. There is a God, and there is moral justice. All of us have to follow the laws of God and the laws of man. Society cannot function when we decide that we can do our own thing, regardless of the law of man and of the law of God. For many, many, many decades, the people of Mexico have given themselves special permission to break any law. The justification is because they are corrupt, do what I want. Conversation with one of my regular customers, and he was going on about, how the poor Mexican gets mistreated. And I reminded him, look, the Mexican individual does not get a license at the driver license office. He purchases it on the black market. He registers his vehicle in the black market. The property collector, the property tax collector, he bribes. Okay, so you have these behaviors, this personal morality that contributes to the decay of society. Mexico is what Mexico is because the people of Mexico made Mexico. Now you come into American society and you have to recognize the truth, the reality. Paul Ryan is who the people of America allow him to be. Mitch McConnell is who the people of America allow him to be. Even though it looks like Donald Trump should win the nomination, all those anti-Trump forces are still out there. And they still want to serve their corporate masters. They don't want a person who's talking about, removing the corruption between business and politicians. They don't want a person in there who's talking about negotiating a foreign policy with other nations that benefit the American worker. You got to ask yourself, the question is, why would anybody go into negotiations where the results are going to harm the people that you represent or that they represent? It's not right. Today, in the United States of America, everything that's wrong with America has been to poor administration. I was listening to Laura Ingraham today, and she has a tendency to go off on George W. Bush. George W. Bush was not harming this country. I was paying attention during the George W. Bush years. I was paying attention to his policies, and the economy and the jobs, and the reason you had the financial crash of 2008 is because America had a robust economy under George W. Bush. So people have opinions, I guess, but the reality is that you need proper administration. And that proper administration has to include the delicate balance in the relationship between government and the people of the country. Republicans have not respected the people of America because they have been trying every dirty little trick to get illegal immigration reform passed, even though the majority of conservatives don't want it. And it is correct not to want it. You cannot reward individuals who have broken your laws. You cannot reward individuals who have broken your rules and regulations. Their first act was a criminal act. By them coming into this country without the proper legal authority, they committed a crime. They are telling you they are of the criminal mindset. Not only that, currently, today, the human being overall has a very bad attitude and has poor morality. I've never seen it this bad. I've never seen people being this confrontational on the road. I heard a news story of some person who killed an individual with a gun over what was being labeled as a road rage incident. The people of Mexico have allowed themselves to go down a very dark road of immorality. I can tell you this. I'm a witness. I've seen it. I hear it. I see it every day. I witness it every day. They have zero respect for God's law. They have zero respect for man's law. People, the American conservatives, the people who honestly care about this country, have a responsibility to stop the people of Mexico from destroying America. Mr. Donald Trump, with the can write proper policy, administrate this country in a way where the people of Mexico have no choice but to respect America. And that goes for the other countries around the world. I'm a person who supports freedom. I like the free market. If anybody has a company and they want to find a market in China and Russia and Mexico, I have no problem with it. People of the United States of America to help you when you're hurting them, when you're harming them, when you're taking jobs away, when you're using the power of the to help you achieve an economic advantage in other foreign markets. Now, I titled this video that it's not about hate. It's not. I wouldn't support anything with hate. I believe in doing things the right way. And the right way is to follow the law. When the Pope came down to this area, he was in the Mexican area that neighbors the city I live into. Part of his speech was that societies are falling apart because the people in those societies no longer have good morality. He was right. Now, he went on to interfere in politics that are none of his concern. He has a right to express an opinion. He doesn't have the right to apply political pressure by motivating the people in his church to be against a certain policy of a country, of a city, of a county, of a state. The people of the United States of America are not cruel people. The people of the United States of America are not mean people. The people of the United States of America have the right to administrate their country in the correct manner. Succeed as a group and as an individual when you maintain standards. It's about the proper administration of public resources in order for individuals to be able to be successful and in order for the country to be successful. This week and last week, we're hearing news stories about Puerto Rico. financial crisis. And the cruelty of Republicans in Congress not to help them. It's not cruelty because the people of Puerto Rico created their own situation. You cannot have people make an economic mess of their area and then expect someone else to bail them out. There always needs to be responsibility in the way he spent the taxpayers' money. And he had the help and assistance of the Republicans in the House of Representatives and the Senate. And today, we're paying the price. We have a country with very little economic power, challenged by serious threats from terrorism, Russia, China, North Korea, and Mexico. So it isn't about hate. Administrating things in the right way. I've written it and I said it before, I do not see how the people of Mexico build a better country. I think it's over for Mexico. It's it's Afghanistan. It's Iraq. It's many of the nations. It's many. It's what's going on in a lot of Latin American countries. You need to understand how to do things the right way. You need to know how to budget, and you need to know how to manage your money. I think that one of the greatest risks to American society is the attitude of people. There's too many people with a negative attitude, and that is contributing to how they manage themselves personally. It isn't government's job to tell you to be responsible. And it is government's job to help you be irresponsible. When you're talking about cruelty and hate, I heard a person call Trump a racist today. If Mr. Donald Trump is a racist, then I'm a racist. If Mr. Donald Trump is a racist, then I and everybody else who have supported him and will continue to support him racist. The reality is that just because we don't agree with you doesn't mean that we're racist. For too long, American politicians and politicians in Mexico have, you know, knowingly and willingly acted against the people of America. And the sad fact is that it's the people of America who allowed it to happen. Today, we are where we are because we allow them to do what they do. We have no one to blame but ourselves. Trump, who voted for the United States of America, or to the Republican Party, or to the Democratic Party. People are talking about his vice presidential choice. If Mr. Trump makes a political decision in choosing a vice president, he will be showing that he's just like everybody else. He needs to choose someone that is just as credible as he is as an administrator. He knows a lot of people in business. He knows a lot of people that can help him deal with the American debt, the American budget, American finance. He knows a lot of people that can help foreign relations. And he needs to choose an individual who has the kind of education and experience as he does. If he makes a political decision, then, what he's been saying about being an independent, a total independent. I don't have a problem with him taking donations from people. You can take donations from people, and taking donations from people doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to do favors for people. You know, the proper administration of this country and build a better country, to make America great, to stop the corruption between businesses and politicians, you know, the insanity of actions in other countries by the American government, Iraq. Those people are lucky to have been given the gift that the people of America gave them. They chose not to take advantage of that gift. It is no longer our responsibility. And you need an individual who understands that these people of these regions of these countries are the ones that have to stand up and take control of their society and take control of their political leadership and make a country that they can be happy living in. It's the people. It's not the politicians. In reality, it's not Donald Trump. It's the individuals who are supporting Donald Trump. After Mr. Trump is elected President of the United States of America, and let me tell you right here, right now, Donald Trump will be the next President of the United States of America. All of us who have seen Hillary Clinton ever since Bill Clinton got into politics can tell you that she's got so much, you know, she just has so much bad actions that she has been personally involved in for anybody to support her. Now she's got her little group. But remember that a virtual nobody came into the Democratic political arena and stole the nomination from Hillary Clinton, who was supposedly established and well known and well liked. If Hillary was established and well known and well liked, why did Barack Hussein Obama get the nomination, the Democratic nomination? And why did he go on to win the presidency? This person the Democrats could have chosen is Hillary Clinton. And she has been chosen, even though Bernie Sanders is winning. As much as the Republican system was rigged so the elites could stay in power, the Democratic system is rigged so the elites can stay in power. Hillary Clinton works for those people in business who support Democratic candidates. At least we can say that Donald Trump does not work for those businesses who manipulate politics in the Republic. It's not about hate. I keep telling this story to people to try to get them to understand why you need to do proper administration, why you need to set standards, why you need to follow laws, why you need to follow rules, why you need to follow regulations. You don't like the law, you don't like the regulation, you don't like the rules, try to change them. This is basic, okay? Now notice the word if. If I had a brother of heroin, I would show up every day at his house and beat the snot out of him. And if by chance, if I show up one day and he says, you cannot beat the snot out of me anymore because I'm no longer a heroin addict, I would still beat the snot out of him. And as I'm walking away and he asks me, why did you do that? I would tell him, so you don't forget. When someone you care about is destroying their life, you have two choices. Watch and let them do it, or do what you can to stop them. If you from destroying their lives. Unfortunately, a lot of people around the world have decided that America is everybody's patsy. That America exists so everybody can take advantage of it. The people of America do not exist for anybody to use them and abuse them. There was this, in one of the protests, there was a little person who appeared, a child who appeared to have been of Mexican descent, who was holding a sign that said, read more, something kind of, it's time to make America Mexico again. There's always been this idea in the people of Mexico that the people of America stole Mexico from them. There were legitimate wars, and there were people who won those wars. What we know for certain, Mexican existence, what the people of Mexico would have done if they had kept what they believe our American lands owed to them. stole these land back. They want the public school that's on top of that land built by Americans. They want the government hospital and government clinic that's on top of that land built by Americans. They want the food stamp and welfare office that's on top of that land that was built by Americans. Yes, there was Mexican labor in America, but the brain trust, the intelligent people, the people who administrated corporations and turned them into success stories were Americans. And for the most of the part, they were white Americans. Therefore, the people who really built America are the wise people who build businesses that succeeded. When you compare 200 years of American history, who had a space shuttle program, who went to the moon, who's a partner in the International Space Station, who has had one of their citizens create a product that has revolutionized the world. And I'm talking about Windows operating system. As much as people don't like computers are run by Windows operating system, and computers have revolutionized the world. If we did not have computers, we would not have the world we have today. And for the most part, it's been an improvement. What country had that citizen? It wasn't Mexico. It was the United States of America. You can say the same thing for Apple. You can say the same thing for the Wright brothers, the railroads, auto manufacturing. I heard a long time a person say, well, if Americans weren't involved in the creation, they're involved in the improvement. And you cannot have a society where the members of that society give themselves permission to negative attitude and to excuse their bad attitude with criminal behavior. There's a lot at stake. If the United States of America fails, I think the whole world fails. America holds a very prestigious position in the world. I think one of the things that Mr. Donald Trump needs to do, and I heard this in his foreign policy speech. That, to me, that speech was perfect. It's the way his speech should be done. And he hit every single bullet point that I would have hit. When he talked about the great value of humanity and standing together with humanity to protect human rights, I think that was the best part. However, in dealing with other nations, they need to understand that if they build good societies where human rights are respected, they will suffer the consequences. America will stand together with good and decent people. But we're not going to catch everybody who's falling. There are always consequences to behavior. There are good consequences to good behavior. There are bad consequences to bad behavior. Animosity. If you read my articles, and you can find an article where I have said that I hated somebody and I wish them the worst, you created it yourself. Articles on mental health are inspire people, to empower people so they can believe in themselves and deal with their own depression and anxiety. Everything that I have written about positive, thinking positive, being hopeful, being realistic, and by being realistic, enjoying what you have and appreciating what you have. Life as hard as we make it. Excuse me. Unfortunately, a lot of people are making it hard on us because they've decided to operate under their own personal morality, and their own personal morality is bad morality. America needs to be administered properly, where her resources, her limited resources, are used in a responsible manner. Obama's $11.5 trillion is irresponsible. The assistance that he got from the Republicans in the House of Representatives, what they are attempting to do Trump so they can keep their power and not have the relationship of corporate master and political slave disrupted is irresponsible. It should be criminal. These people should be put in jail. But a lot is going to be said. Good. I caught the last idea that I wanted to talk about. The conservative media and the liberal media are going to come after Donald Trump like a bunch of hungry wolves. Like you've never seen anybody get torn into. And it's going to have to be people like myself and you that are going to have to, fires burning, keep the message alive, keep working hard. I know that you know there's a lot of people who have the sense that when is this going to end? We know that in November, more or less November 7th of this year, the voting will take place. And it's like that's in a very, that's a lot of time down the road. But we have to stay strong. We have to stay on message. And we have to understand that no one person can do it alone. Mr. Donald Trump cannot do it alone. One of the things that I heard today about his vice president's choice, and is what he said, that he needs someone that can help him with the Congress. Mr. Trump, the conservative people in the United States of America are the ones that are going to help you with the Congress. You don't need to choose a vice president to help you with the Congress, because it's going to be the American people who are going to help you strong arm the Congress. Force them into doing things they don't want to do. Like enforcing immigration law and not immigration reform. Respecting the people's tax dollars, being responsible in spending, and not continuing to waste the taxpayers' money. Taxpayers' money is a limited resource, and it has to be properly administered by understanding priorities. Oh, just watching this news thing, sorry. Mr. Kasich, I guess, is going to drop out. Well, it's not about hate. I wish that the people of Mexico had Jesus Christ in their life. I wish that they were committed to proper morality as many people in the United States of America are committed to it. People of America live a good game. We all have bad people in our society. But the reality is that there are principles of success that will lead to individual success and group success. Oh, he's on. Mr. Kasich is on. I guess he's going to give his.
Republican nominee. Three campaign officials who spoke to the Associated
All right.
Press said Kasich plans to announce his decision in a statement later today.
It's official. He's going to drop out. Okay, so when we do the right thing, we help ourselves, we help our society. When we follow the law, we help ourselves, we help our society. This negative attitude, this impression, this brainwashing that has happened is wrong, and we need to come to terms with the reality that the Democratic political line is a false political line. It doesn't lead to personal success. It leads to death, apathy, and violence. It's going to be a hard road ahead. We who have supported Mr. Donald Trump have thought that we've been under attack and it's going to get worse. But it needs to be that we're fighting the good fight, and the good fight is fought with dignity and grace. We don't hate anybody. If they think that we hate them, we don't. I can tell you that they have a false reality. The people of Mexico have a very false reality. And they're getting angry. They're seeing their little, whatever idea of their life they constructed, it's about to get bulldozed, and they're getting scared. And when people become scared, they become defensive. That's a personal problem, and it has to be confronted. We're at the point of do or die. We cannot let this country fail. Thank you for listening.